Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another card making video. In today's video, I'm going to be playing with 3 colors of Distress Oxide Sprays to create some rainbow backgrounds. I'll also be using some brand new stamps from Spellbinders from the Delightful Darlings collection. Here are the 3 colors of sprays I'm using: Worn Lipstick, Mustard Seed, and Salty Ocean. For my first background, I'm just spraying. I put the Worn Lipstick at the top, the Mustard Seed in the middle, kind of took over, and then the Salty Ocean at the bottom, and where they overlap, they blend to give you that orange and green. And then I love splatter, so I am spritzing on and splattering on some water from my Distress sprayer, and then picking that up with a paper towel. I love the look of splatter. So I'm going to be layering up splatter on top of my spray. So first it was water, and now I'm removing the lid and using the stick from the Distress Oxide spray to splatter with and adding those colors on top. They will dry back much lighter than they look right there. Then I have some Sparkle Silk from the Spellbinders shop, and I am splattering that over the top to add a bit of shimmer. And that will finish up background number 1. For the second background, I have a 5x7 panel. It's just under 5x7, so I can create a 5x7 card. This time I'm going to spray the pink across the top and the blue across the bottom. And this right here is so fabulous. I would use that for a background. I probably will one day soon. Then I put the yellow in the middle, and I really liked how that looked. Once that was dry, I'm going to tape it behind my heart wall stencil. I believe this is on sale or clearance at the Spellbinders shop. I'll go ahead and link it for you below. And then I'm bringing in my Glitz glitter gel and going over the top of that to make some super yummy glittery hearts. This is just like frosting. Like, I find it just as yummy even though you don't eat it. So there is my hearts on top. I love this background. All right, on to background number 3. I'm taping the stencil to a panel for a mini slimline card and spraying right over the stencil with the 3 colors, and this is so fun. I love this look with these sprays. I'm getting pretty close, so I'm not getting the granule look of the sprays, but really a saturated look. Then I had all that excess on my stencil, so I decided to pick it up with a slimline card panel, and I love that. But I kind of pushed too hard, had a little bit too much spray there, so it may appear that this one is completely ruined. But once it was dry, I cleaned off my stencil and I repositioned it over the top, and I taped it in place. I'm going to bring in a black liner pen and just trace around those hearts of the stencil, and then it's going to define those areas where the spray really went out of control, and it's going to give me a very, kind of shabby, distressed, grungy kind of background. But I think it's pretty cool. I kind of like grungy with bright colors, so I like that. I'm also going to splatter it. So when in doubt, splatter it. That's what I say. If it's messy, splatter can cover a multitude of things. So I am doing the same thing. The Sparkle Silk, and also directly from the Distress Oxide spray bottles, all 3 of the colors. And this one is fabulous. I really like it. I would love to know what you think. And then I'm going to put some Sparkle Silk on my 4th background, and then you can see all 4 of them right here together. And now we can go ahead and start creating the cards. So we're going to first do some stamping. I have the Darling Bouquet and the Darling Hugs stamp set. There are 2 others in this collection. I'll have all 4 of them linked for you below. Stamping that out with some black ink on some Copic friendly cardstock so I can go ahead and color these out. I actually stamped it 2 times so I could make 4 cards with these. So I thought you'd like to see how I colored out the 2 girls. I'm making this one with a pink dress, and I have my lightest color, which was RV13, I believe, and then RV43 coming in for my second color. These 2 colors don't blend the best together. But I made it work. I went in really heavy with my RV13 at the end, and it worked. But they're by each other on my hex chart, but I didn't love the blend, at least not for this large area or this dress. It might work in some other areas, but anyway, it worked out in the end. I like the bright dress, and then I'm going to accent the edges of her dress with just some really light cool gray markers so they will still be white, and I did the same for her socks. The one thing with this particular image is you want to be really careful going in and around those flowers to color what would be her dress behind them. So maybe you want to pull out your reading glasses. I would have done that, but I left them downstairs. So it's very small. Next, I'm going to color out her hair with E23 as my darkest color here. My daughter said she thought that this particular image looked the most like her, and so I tried to color her hair kind of the same as my daughter's, but I think her hair is actually a little darker than what I colored this one, but it still has the feel of her. So then E13 is my lightest color, and I'm just going over the top of those sketchy lines that look like the detail in her hair. And then for her skin, I have E00, and we're very pale skinned, so I've got I don't know if this is the lightest E marker. There's probably a 000, but yeah, that works for us over here. So then I have E11 for the shadow, and then I'll blend that out again with the E00, and that finishes up her skin and her hair. For her cheeks, I used RV20 or R20. R20 I think is my favorite for rosy cheeks. And then I used some green markers for her shoes. I thought they would be really cute in green. Gotta have some fun shoes. And then for my next girl, I'm starting with E23 for her skin and coloring that on all of the areas for her arms and her legs as well. And these shoes, can we talk about these shoes? They're so cute. They're little kittens. I love it. So much fun. So for her skin, I'm only using E23, and I'm just going back over it and adding in the shadows. I will go over it another time to really blend out that shadowy area. For her hair, I have E49 for my darkest color, putting in those lines that will be the detail of her hair. And once I have that how I want, I'm bringing in another dark marker, but lighter, E59, and going over the top of that to soften out those lines and finish up her hair. So pretty. All right, then I'm going to go over her skin again, like I said, just to really darken that shadow and soften the blend of those lines. And then for her shirt, I have Y15, and I'm going to color the whole entire thing with this lighter color, and then I'm bringing in Y17 to add in the shadows, and then I'll also fill in that bottom or open part of her shirt, and going back over that with my Y15. For her pants, I'm using RV21 as my lightest color and RV13 as my darkest, and I liked this blend better than the dress. It's lighter, but that's kind of what I had in mind, so I liked this a lot. And then for her shoes, I used a really dark orange to put in some lines, and then I went over that with my YR16 and gave it kind of a tabby cat look. For the stuffed kitty that she's holding, I used some cool gray markers to color that out, and I think it's really cute. There's also a stuffed kitty that is separate from the girl in this stamp set, so I think that's really fun too. You can use that separately. All right, so there are both of the images all colored out, as well as the bow and the flower and the markers I used to color them. I used my Pick Scan Mat for my Cameo Silhouette to cut out all the things, and there you can see what they look like, and the other two that I colored. Now let's make card number 1. I'm going to stamp over my splattered background using some Concord and 9th inks. This is Honeysuckle, and yeah, I didn't stamp it very good the first time. I'm going to cover it up with my sentiment, so it's going to be fine. And then I'm just going to go in rainbow order. So then I'll bring in tried to double stamp it. It was fine. I'm going to bring in some Marmalade ink, and stamp my orange section with these 3 flowers from this same stamp set. And then I brought in the Buttercup ink. It was a little bit too light, so I decided to stamp over that with my Honey Drizzle ink from Altenew, and that was a lot better. And then for my green, I'm stamping another Concord in 9th color and doing a whole row of that, and then I'll bring in some Midnight ink, also from Altenew, and stamp out the blue area, which was a little bit larger, so I had to do a couple extra stampings there at the bottom. All right, then for her, I'm putting a flower on her in her hair. I love this combination with the red hair and her green dress and her blue eyes. So pretty. And I'm going to mount that with foam squares. I'm going to mount all the girls today with foam squares on their cards. And then I have a scrap piece of vellum that I am cutting a flag on one end, and then I'm going to pop up my sentiment on top of that that says, "You're the best." And then I can put the glue behind just the sentiment so it can't really be seen. And then I will stick that down to the top of my card, covering up that flower that was a little bit messed up. And then I'll just trim off the excess. You could wrap it around the back to help hold it onto the card as well. And then to embellish this, I have some rainbow drops from the Spellbinder shop. These are hands down one of my favorite embellishments of all time. They have a little bit of transparency to them, so they will kind of conform to the color that's behind them. They're magical. I trimmed about 1/4 of an inch off the side of this card, so when I mounted it onto my A2 size note card, I had a little bit of white peeking out on the side, and I really liked that. I even saved that scrap and added it to the inside of the card for a little bit of embellishment there. So that finishes up the first card. On to card number 2. This is my 5x7 card. I'm putting a little bow in her hair. I colored her hair brown, and I gave her like a blue and gray outfit. She's so cute. Then I am cutting this sentiment apart because I didn't want it to say "my dear" at the end, because I thought this might be a card my daughter would give to one of her friends. So I just wanted to say "Happy birthday to you." So I cut them apart and mounted those with foam squares as well. And then I'm taking a heart from the stamp set and that same honeysuckle ink that I used on the last card and stamping these little hearts right around her. And that is it. Very simple for this 5x7 card. I mounted it onto my card base so that it had a white border all the way around. So that means that the actual background panel is 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. On to card number 3. I'm stamping glasses on this little girl that looks like my daughter, and she loves glasses. Even though she doesn't wear them, she has some like fake glasses, so I thought that would be cute on her. And now I'm going to add the "You're the best" sentiment, so it's a little bit at an angle, and then a flower in her hair, and then some rainbow drops for embellishment. And I'm going to put one of all the colors except purple. My rainbows today don't include purple, but you really could spray some more of that pink at the bottom of your card to mix with the blue, the worn lipstick, and the salty ocean, and it would make purple. So now I'm gluing that onto my mini slimline card base. That is 3 inches by 6 inches, and there I have my mini slimline card. And that's that crazy background. And I feel like the card turned out really good. What do you think? I would love to know. Let me know which of these cards today is your favorite. And let's finish up with card number 4. So I'm adding the little ribbon in orange to her hair. So she's got orange on the top of her head and on the bottom of her feet. She's getting popped up onto the slimline background with some foam squares. And I wanted to change out the sentiment for this one. So I'm stamping "Love you so much." And look, the little circle has a smiley face in it. I love how these sentiments look like they're kind of hand drawn by a little kid with a marker. It's so cute. So I fussy cut around that and gave it kind of a bubble look, and then I glued it onto some orange cardstock and cut that with my paper trimmer. Now I found this heart talk bubble or word bubble in my scraps, and I just put a piece of glitter paper behind it, and then I'll pop that up as well, and then we'll glue this entire thing to my slimline card base, which is 8.5 by 3.5. And then of course some more rainbow drops to embellish this last card in and around all of the things. And these come in 3 different sizes in 5 different colors. And there are over 700 pieces in this set. Such a good deal. I'll link them for you below. So there are all 4 of today's cards. I think that these girls from the Delightful Darlings collection are super cute. You've got to check out the other 2 stamp sets in the collection, and I'll have those, like I said, linked for you below. And if you have any questions, let me know. I am always here to chat with you. I love to know your thoughts, and I will see you all again very soon with the next card making video. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Happy stamping. Bye.